Oh, there you are. Come on, come closer. Let's start this journey together. Get to know one another so we can rise together. Pick me up, hold me, feed me, but it might be messy. Change me, but it might be smelly. Be my playdate. Be my rocking chair. Be my hero.
Because every dad should play an equal role in his baby's life, Pampers is giving 8 weeks of paternity leave to their new dads, hoping to inspire others to give Kenyan dads this opportunity.
Hello 22bet.
Oya ni aje?
Poa sana.
Unasikia naenda kuingia kwa account yangu napata kuna maziwa rada?
Oh, hiyo ni Euro 2020 cashback. Tunapeana 8% kwa kila game ya Euro.
Hadi kwa kila game?
Hata zenye zimekunywa maji.
Sasa nyinyi ndio mabazeng. Itabidi hadi nimechapia mbogi. Cheki Mamorio. Unasikia kuna 8% cashback ya nini ya Euro ya 22bet.
Get 100% bonus on your first deposit now. SMS join to 292.
Oh, there you are. Come on, come closer. Let's start this journey together. Get to know one another so we can rise together. Pick me up, hold me, feed me, but it might be messy. Change me, but it might be smelly. Be my playdate. Be my rocking chair. Be my hero.
Because every dad should play an equal role in his baby's life, Pampers is giving 8 weeks of paternity leave to their new dads, hoping to inspire others to give Kenyan dads this opportunity.
Hello 22bet.
Oya ni aje?
Poa sana.
Unasikia naenda kuingia kwa account yangu napata kuna maziwa rada?
Oh, hiyo ni Euro 2020 cashback. Tunapeana 8% kwa kila game ya Euro.
Hadi kwa kila game?
Hata zenye zimekunywa maji.
Sasa nyinyi ndio mabazeng. Itabidi hadi nimechapia mbogi. Cheki Mamorio. Unasikia kuna 8% cashback ya nini ya Euro ya 22bet.
Get 100% bonus on your first deposit now. SMS join to 29252. 22bet. Tucheze, tushinde.
22.
July 28, 2021. It is glad to have your company tonight on Maisha Prime, and after this, join me on Maisha Prime Women Talk as we talk about women and leadership. My name is Rida Chebet Karen. section of leaders from Murang'a County have rubbished ODM leader Raila Odinga's advances in the region as too little, too late in the quest for the region's support in 2022. The leaders say the vote-rich region has rallied behind Deputy President William Ruto. Bushebi Jr. compiled a full report on this.
After ODM leader Raila Odinga's visit to Mount Kenya region, a section of Mount Kenya leaders allied to Deputy President William Ruto have come out to rubbish the Handshake Partners leaders tour, terming his visit too little too late to win the Mount Kenya voting block.
Already Mulima imedecide kwenye tunapiga kura na hapo hatutikiziki. So Kalonzo, Mudavadi, Wetangula na hao wengine jaribuni bahati yenu, lakini hapa Mulima tumeugana na tuko Hustler Nation.
Murang'a is Hustler Nation, Murang'a is William Ruto.
Sources within the Odinga party have revealed that they are targeting at least 50% of the Mount Kenya electoral support.
Ningekuuliza Jacom, hapa Mlima Kenya, tembea. Hapa kwa Bwana SK ni nyumbani, mimi ni kijana wa hapa. Boma langu liko hapa 1.5 kilometers away. Saa ingine kuja lala huko, enda kanisa Gatanga, zunguka watu wa kuone hapa Mlima Kenya.
Tulikuambia in 2002 tukasema wewe ni jamba, na sisi tukisema mtu ni jamba, jamba ni kusema ni mtu kamili kabisa, ni kiongozi. Hatujasahau.
Leo tumekuja kusema former prime minister, hizo kura ukituangalia kama vile mimi nimesema, hizo kura zote zikiwa pamoja zitakuja kwako.
Sisi sio watu tunaendanga left na right. Mnajua siku ya kura ikikuja, sisi tunaendanga to the man in one direction.
Hauwezi kata Mlima Kenya kutumia razor blade. Ati uende hapo unakunyakunya hivi. Tunasema kukunyakunya. Ati ufikirie unagawanya mlima.
Odinga says that he, together with President Uhuru Kenyatta, are planning to have a series of tours around the country, with the latest being Western Kenya this weekend.
Kwa kule Nyanza. Alafu leo tutakwenda huko upande wa Western. Alafu tunaenda Pwani. Tunaenda kila mahali ya kuunganisha Kenya iwe kama kimoja. Uhuru nasimama pande ile, Raila pande hii.
Tinga wewe hatujasahau vile uliagamiza rais wetu Mwai Kibaki wakati alikuita kwa serikali ya nusu mkate. Hatujasahau tangu uingia hii serikali tumekuwa kusabaratika kila pahali kwa chama yetu. Kwa hivyo hata ukikuja hapa, kuja jueni Mkenya.
Hata kabla tuende huko nje kusema watu wa Mount Kenya wawe united, kwanza tuanze hapa kwetu nyumbani. Si ndio hiyo? Tungependa kuona wale wote ambao wamechaguliwa wakiongea na wakitembea kama mtu mmoja.
Mount Kenya politics has taken a rival turn, with rise in revolt against President Uhuru Kenyatta and his exit from State House next year without a successor, as Mount Kenya leader will leave an open space for the region to simply determine who the next president will be through a ballot. Reporting for Maisha TV, I'm Bushebi Jr.
And KANU chairperson Gideon Moi now says that Raila Odinga, Musalia Mudavadi, Kalonzo Musyoka and Moses Wetangula should work together to clinch the presidency come 2022. Moi's remarks could complicate the creation of One Kenya Alliance, which brought together the then NASA core principles and who had accused the ODM leader Raila Odinga of dishonesty. Let's have a look.
Na hiyo ukiona viongozi wengi, na ndio viongozi Musalia Mudavadi, Kalonzo Musyoka, Wetangula, tukishirikiana, hata Right Honorable Raila Odinga, tukishikana sisi zote, tukiunga mkono BBI, tukiunga mkono unity and inclusivity of all, tukiunga mkono mambo ya prosperity for Kenya, justice, tukijua kwamba kusukuma nchi letu la Kenya lazima sisi zote tukue pamoja. And that's the key of BBI, key ya inclusivity.
Vihiga Governor Wilberforce Otichilo has put on notice medics who have been reselling and stealing medicine from county hospitals after the trend of missing drugs was recorded. Speaking after flagging off medicine purchased from KEMSA worth 32 million Kenyan shillings, Otichilo said any individual found or suspected to be conspiring to steal and reselling drugs will be dismissed from service. He called upon locals to be vigilant at their health facilities and report any suspicious movement of the relevant authorities.
Yote ambaye atapatikana akihusika na wizi wa hii madawa, hatutaspea huyu mtu. Kwanza tutapeleka we nyumbani, na nimeambia county secretary, ukipatikana tu ama ikisemekana tu umehusika, hata kama hujaiba, tutainterdict wewe kwanza uende nyumbani. Maneno yako tutazungumza kama wewe uko nyumbani. So nachukua nafasi hii kutoa onyo kwa wale wachache kwa hii idara yetu ya health ambao wako na uzoefu wa kuiba madawa. Wawache, wakome kuanzia leo. There will be no business as usual. Na hiyo tumesema. Nataka kutoa mwito kwa watu wetu wa Vihiga. Muwe askari wetu. Madawa ndio hii natoa saa hii inakuja kwa hospitali zetu. Nyinyi muwe askari zetu, askari wetu. Mukiona mfanyakazi wowote wa idara ya afya akitoka na akichukua madawa ama akitoka na madawa, mtupigie simu ama mtuelezee, na sisi tutachukua hatua ambayo inatakikana.
And as the Western region prepares to welcome President Uhuru Kenyatta this weekend, rifts are emerging among the leaders over who will run point during the president's tour of the region. Youth leaders are accusing Devolution Cabinet Secretary Eugene Wamalwa of hatching a plot to sideline the ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi and Ford Kenya leader Moses Wetangula. Bushebi June with that report.
Western Kenya leaders have started preparing to welcome President Uhuru Kenyatta, who accordingly is planning a tour of the region next month. Devolution Cabinet Secretary Eugene Wamalwa has asked residents to get ready for the head of state's development tour, during which he is expected to launch several projects. Mr. Wamalwa said preparations for the visit will focus on the commissioning of key development projects, including the planned construction of the 100 million shillings Kakamega Gold Refinery in Kolomani constituency. President Kenyatta is also expected to tour Kakamega, Vihiga, Busia, Bungoma and Trans Nzoia County. Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya confirmed the president's planned visit, but said preparations are being handled by State House in Nairobi. The Kakamega County Chief is expected to convene a meeting of leaders from the region next week and discuss the logistics of the visit.
For the last 2.5 years, until now, our effort has paid dividends, that the president will be here to officially launch this project.
An aide to Governor Oparanya says the meeting will be attended by all leaders from the region, irrespective of their party affiliations. The planned tour comes hot on the heels after the president's visit to Nyanza recently, which attracted murmurs from Western region residents who felt sidelined.
Nataka kumshukuru Governor Oparanya kwa kazi ambaye tumeona kwa muda mchache ameweza kufanya kubadilisha maisha ya wakaaji wa Kakamega. Baadaye tutaenda kuangalia hospitali ambayo inajengwa hapa, tuone vile tutasaidiana.
The planned tour comes hot on the heels of the president's visit to Nyanza recently, which attracted murmurs from Western region residents who felt sidelined. It also comes when divisions have intensified among key local politicians as campaigns ahead of next year's presidential poll take shape.
Fisi akitaka kula watoto wake, anaanza kuwaambia wananuka kama mbuzi. Akirudi kwa nyumba anasema anasikia harufu ya mbuzi hapa.
ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi and his Ford Kenya counterpart Moses Wetangula are pushing to popularize One Kenya Alliance, while Mr. Oparanya, who is also ODM deputy leader, has asked voters in the region not to back the coalition in 2022. It is unclear whether they will attend the planned leaders meeting to come up with a common agenda to present to Mr. Kenyatta. Aside from the Kakamega Gold Refinery, other key projects likely to be on Mr. Kenyatta's itinerary include the construction of a granite factory in Vihiga County and the 1.7 billion shillings Vihiga Cluster Water Project funded by the Belgian government.
We are set to go. By Sunday and Monday, we should be setting up this place for the construction of a state-of-the-art refinery.
The problem we have been having with the mining, artisan mining, they will be able now to learn more skills from more established miners like the ones that are coming here. I'm grateful to the minister. We have been together on this project.
He is also expected to inspect the 6 billion shillings Kakamega Teaching and Referral Hospital. The first phase cost 2.5 billion shillings and the facility was to open its doors by June this year, but inadequate funding has delayed the commissioning of the project. The Kakamega County government is reported to have approached the national government to take over the project, which will serve as a referral facility in Western Kenya. The troubled Mumias Sugar Company is also expected to feature prominently during the president's tour. Leaders from the region have been piling pressure on the government to intervene and ensure the debt-ridden Mila is revived. Mr. Wamalwa, who spoke in Kakamega on Monday during the commissioning of the Kakamega Fish Processing Plant, asked leaders in the region to avoid engaging in toxic politics if they expect residents to benefit from development initiatives by the government and other investors. Reporting for Maisha TV, I'm Bushabe Jr.
The United Green Movement is warning IEBC against being influenced to postpone the 2022 general elections. The party's leader, Agostino Neto, says he will move to court to ensure that each IEBC commissioner is held responsible in case violence erupts following postponement of the elections.
Most Kenyans want to have another chance at the elections on August 9th next year. Postponing those elections, like we saw in 2007, 2008, would occasion political violence. They will be falling within the principles of international crimes, which are crimes against humanity, the crimes of genocide. Should they be misusing their constitutional offices? Because that is the point. You only need to do is to show a causal link that the independent and elected body commissioners abdicated their role.
Traders at Likuyani Market in Kakamega County have protested against the dumping of waste from construction sites associated with the county executive led by Likuyani Member of Parliament Dr. Enoch Kibunguchi. They accuse the contractor of being insensitive to traders in the market by heaping a mountain of waste material in the market, making it hard for their daily business. Dr. Kibunguchi said the waste dumped by workers from the construction site is a threat to the safety of traders in the market.
Kuna siku tulishtuka tu tunaona marori inaleta mchanga hapa tukashindwa ni nini, na ni biashara ya mtu binafsi. Anachimba fish pond yake analeta mchanga kwa soko. Sasa tunaomba serikali tusaidie venye mchanga, ona imezuia wafanye biashara, ona wenye wanatandikanga huko hakuna, wamezuiliwa.
Biashara iendelee kwa sababu ya hiyo mchanga imesimama mbele, imekinga. Imekuwa mchanga nyingi, mamao hata watoto wakipita wanachikonga.
Huwezi kufanya hivyo, atishauri wewe iko na nguvu. Atishauri wewe iko na pesa. Atishauri wewe ndio unajiweza. Ati ya Neema wametulet down. Tulikuwa tukutane nao hapa, waje waangalie, lakini wametulet down kabisa. Watu wa public health sijui wanafanya kazi gani. Hawa ndio wangesema hii public health hatuwezi kuweka hivi vitu hapa. Si borafia ndio public health. Hawa sijui kwa nini hauwezi kuja kuangalia kwamba kuna makosa hapa somewhere.
And with that, we've come to the end of Maisha Prime News. My name is Rida Chibet-Kering, and after this, join me on Maisha Prime Talk as we talk about issues to do with women in leadership and women leaders in our country and even in churches. So make sure you tune in.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Your world of Maisha is getting an exciting makeover. We're giving your channel a dedicated touch to enhance your viewing experience. Finding what you want, loving it has never been this easy.
Your capacity. The problem is leadership.
My name is Rida Chibet-Kering.
Welcome home to your dedicated channel, where you choose it, watch it, and love it. It's your season.
Behind a successful man, there's a woman. But who is behind a successful woman? It is Wednesday, and many call it a Woman Crush Wednesday. But here on Maisha TV, we call it Maisha Prime Talk Women Edition, where real women talk real issues. I'm glad you could come and join us tonight in our program. We got a really interesting topic to talk about. And if you want to join our conversation, we are live on our social media platforms: Facebook, Maisha Television Kenya; YouTube, Maisha Television Kenya; Twitter at Maisha TV KE; and Instagram at Maisha TV KE. You can also call or text 0746 999 841. My Twitter handle is at Rida Chibet, Facebook Rida Chibet. And today I'm joined by an ambitious and empowered lady who is not only knowledgeable on matters to do with women in leadership, which is our main topic today, but also in church ministry, specifically women ministry. Above all, she's a counselor. Welcome to our studio, Irene.
Thank you so much.
And just before we continue, give us an overview of who you are.
My name is Irene Akinyi Wanjala. I'm a wife to a pastor. And as I have been introduced, I'm a women leader in the ministry, that is in the church ministry. And also I do counseling and I do theological training as well. So that's where I'm a mother of 4, by the way. I was just forgetting that. Yeah, so that's where I am.
Yeah, based on your profile, you can see that really you're a woman in leadership.
Yeah, of course. I can say yes.
Well, as we dive into today's topic, which is women in leadership, which biblical character can you define as a woman leader?
Being a woman, I think I've encountered so many women in the Bible, and I would like to pick on one, knowing that she's not the best or no, she's not the least, but at least to discuss on this, I think I'm going to pick on Deborah. She's a woman in the Bible. I know so many people don't know about her. She was a prophetess and she was a judge.
Yeah.
So if you go to the book of Judges, chapter 4 and verses 4, you start getting to hear about Deborah. So this lady was a very powerful lady, and she was a leader. They tell you she was a judge then, and she was a prophetess. So the reason why I picked on her is because she really influenced people who were in authority, and they did something that was very categorical at that time, because so many people feared another king who was always attacking the Israelites. And so it's like everybody was in hiding until when she surfaced and said, okay, no, we have to put an end to this. And so she came up and called the leader of the soldiers and told this leader that, you know what, we are going out. And the reason why she was saying this and being very categorical on what she was saying was because she knew who had spoken about them going out, and that was God. And so she knew that when God speaks, everything unfolds. And so that's why I've picked on her, knowing that as we are talking about leadership, so many a times we've failed in our leadership as women. But one thing we can recognize with now here is that when God speaks, it doesn't matter who you are. You might be a woman, you might be a lady, as we can say, but you will be a leader. So up to that, I can define leadership in terms of women as this character who can influence a people to do something in a certain direction when they didn't really want to go in that direction, but she influenced them to go in that direction, following up on her vision. So that's what I would think leadership is. So in terms of a woman, but we can still say the same about men. Somebody who can influence a people to go in a certain direction.
So let's come to our society. Do you think that women are underrepresented in leadership positions?
Yeah, I can say yes. They are underrepresented. And this is because from behind there in the ancient times, we know that women were not even supposed to speak where people were. And so this has led to the fact that most women are also fearing, because they are still used to that norm that, you know what, if you're a woman, you're not supposed to speak to anybody or speak where people are. And also, apart from that, the women as they are characteristic, they are so emotional. And so most of the time you find that whenever they do something, they are not stable. I can do something today, tomorrow you come to me, I'm like, something has really tickled me, and I'm like, no, it's not that way. And you know, as a leader, you really have to remain in your position. That is, you have to be principled. And so many women are like, even if not people wanting them not to be in leadership, themselves, they fear being there because they know who they are. And sometimes it's like, will I really make it in leadership? So that's the reason why most women are not really in leadership.
So you violated some of the reasons why women in leadership cannot be leaders. You say that women are emotional, are not stable with their decisions. So what can make a woman a good leader?
I've just talked about a lady who really stood out, and we can now talk of a woman in leadership. And we've also had so many, even in our political arena, and we've seen women who have done so well. And I think this is just when people start coming out of their small cocoons where they say, no, I'm a woman, I can't do this, I'm emotional and all that stuff. Because I know emotions are things that can be controlled. And so as a woman, if you really feel that you can be a leader, then it's very okay that you start working on who you are from deep inside of you, because you know now you have a task to accomplish. So this is to say that all women that would want to be in leadership, they also have to work so much hard about their emotions, about who they are, about what they think the society would expect of them. And so I think they've seen so many people being in leadership, including men, and so they can emulate that and be good leaders. So what I can say is that, speaking from a spiritual point of view, I can say that a woman who really knows who she is, especially in the Lord, will be a good leader. And now, talking to all women, I know we have people from different religious backgrounds. So a woman, you can control yourself and be a good leader, because it's a matter of controlling yourself. And then about this also, we know that women are people who can easily adjust to what is expected of them. So we can stand out if we really know what is expected of us, and then we follow it. And so we can be leaders.
And in your profile, you say that you are a Bible trainer. There's this verse in Ephesians 5, verse 23. It says that for the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the savior of the body. Do you think that by empowering women, by making women become leaders in our society, are we going against the Bible? Because the Bible says that the man is the head of the wife.
Yeah,
so maybe are we going against the Bible or what?
Not really that. I think when the Bible talks about this, it only presses on the issue of our homes, because you can be a leader anywhere else, but when you go home, you are a wife to your husband, and so that has to stand out. So if you just want to remain in the position of being the wife of this husband, and then when you're out there, I don't know now you are a wife to who, because out there, then you have to approach people in terms of who you are, not just necessarily who you are at home. Because we know there are different issues that we can do at home, but when we are out there, we do things differently as well. So when the Bible talks about this, the Bible is really talking about women at their places of residence, that is in their homes, such that if you're a woman, you have to be under a man. That is to say, even if you're in leadership, because I know this is something that has also affected our society so much, because most of the time juggling between being a woman leader out there and then at home, now what happens? Now at home, now that biblical scripture has to apply. Then you have to come home and be a wife to somebody and not a leader over this person. Yeah.
Wow, so you mean that this verse of Ephesians 5:23, it was only talking about in your home, not in the society as a whole?
Yeah, we know that the Bible, when it talks about something, it has a background. So for us who read the Bible and sometimes get to understand, or most of the time we have to understand, then we also have to look at what was the setup and the environment unto which the writer was talking. So this writer was trying to address a group of women who thought that maybe they are leaders out there, and now when they come home, they remain leaders. No. When you're at home, you're a wife to somebody. So when you're out there, you're a leader. Do your work as a leader. But when you come home, make sure that you are under that man.
Wow, thank you. So my viewer, I think you've heard that. Many people confuse this verse where they say that a husband is the head of the wife. Wengi huwa wanasema that hata Biblia inasema mwanamke hawezi kuwa juu ya mwanaume. So wana despise wanawake ambao wako kwa leadership. I think our guest has made that very clear. Nadhani kwa mmeelewa. So we're going for a short commercial break. We'll be coming back. So stay tuned.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Your world of Maisha is getting an exciting makeover. We're giving your channel a dedicated touch to enhance your viewing experience. Finding what you want, loving it has never been this easy.
Your capacity. The problem is leadership.
My name is Rida Chebet Kering.
Welcome home to your dedicated channel, where you choose it, watch it, and love it. It's your season.
Oh, there you are. Come on, come closer. Let's start this journey together. Get to know one another so we can rise together. Pick me up, hold me, feed me, but it might be messy. Change me, but it might be smelly. Be my playdate. Be my rocking chair. Be my hero.
Because every dad should play an equal role in his baby's life, Pampers is giving 8 weeks of paternity leave to their new dads, hoping to inspire others to give Kenyan dads this opportunity.
Hello 22bet. Oya, ni aje? Poa sana. Unasikia naenda kuingia kwa akaunti yangu napata kuna maziwa rada? Oh, hiyo ni Euro 2020 cashback. Tunapeana 8% kwa kila game ya Euro. Hadi kwa kila game? Hata zenye zimekunywa maji. Sasa nyinyi ndio mabazeng. Itabidi hadi nimechapia mbogi. Cheki Mamorio. Unasikia kuna 8% cashback ya nini ya euro ya 22 bet.
Get 100% bonus on your first deposit now. SMS join to 29252. 22bet. Tucheze, tushinde.
Oya ni aje, mino Jonte Fresh. Mi ndio nimetambulika hii Gikomba yote sekta ya manguo. Jumio transform nguo ordinary za mtush zenye ziuka mna hii harufu ya bail into the freshest igi kosi yote. Siri ni hii Ariel mpya ya pink. Na kushow mtush zinang'ara kung'ara kushinda kamera. So clean, so fresh. Makastoma unaisana na hii story. Ninatumia Ariel touch of down mpya tu.
Welcome back. I'm still here with Pastor Irene Mumbo Bushebi. She is a counselor, Bible trainer. She is also into church ministry, specifically women ministry. And above all that, she is a mother of 4, 3 girls and 1 boy. And you can join in our conversation on our social media platforms: Facebook, Maisha Television Kenya; YouTube, Maisha Television Kenya; Twitter at Maisha TV KE, and Instagram at Maisha TV KE. You can also send your message or call in 0746 999 841. My Twitter handle is at Rida Chebet and Facebook Rida Chebet. So before we went for a commercial break, we were talking about what makes a woman a good leader. Based on the character that you highlighted, that is Deborah was a judge. What are some of the features that you can say can make a good woman leader?
Thank you very much. I think women leader, as I said, they are very few in the society, and this is because of the characteristics that we've said that sometimes make them move around. And so if we want to get a good woman leader, then we really need to get somebody who is going to be very strategic and very principled in whatever they are doing. That is to say that they are not moved with their emotions, as we did mention. This is because we know unless you do that, you can't be a leader. So women need to be principled. They need to have a very strong, what do I say? Their emotions have to be put at a standstill so that they can work it out well, because I know unless that is done, then we can't have a good leader. So they have to be strong, they have to be principled, they have to be people who can get, you know, as a woman, knowing that you're going into leadership again and you know what you're going to expect, there's so much that will want to pull you down. And so as a woman, you really need to stand out in terms of the way you approach people, the way you talk to them, even your outlook in the first place, so that you don't give people room to start, you know, getting your weak points where they can insult you, where they can make you not be who you are supposed to be. So a good leader needs to really come out or be out there so that anybody looking at them can know this is a leader from the outlook that is. So those are some of the things that I can mention. And now, also coming back to the spiritual point, you have to be strong in your faith. That is, you have to be a prayerful woman, a woman who always and most of the time you will want to go in your hiding and really seek God, because we know if you do that, then God will be fighting before you even come out. So before you speak, God will have told you what to say. And I believe that when God enables you to speak, as Deborah did, then you are going to speak what is going to stand out, what is going to come to pass. So it will be not like you said something and it never happened, or you said something that when people look at it, it's like it's not something that can hold water, so they don't go for it. So you have to be a prayerful woman. You have to be very strong in your faith so that you can be a leader.
Well, and talking about women in leadership, let's come here, like in Kenya. What is the importance of women leaders in the country's governance?
I think it is very important that we put women on board in terms of leadership, because I know unless they are put there, who is going to represent women? Because most of the time, as we've just said, that women are looked at in terms of maybe they don't need to speak, they don't need to be anywhere where other people are. So unless a woman is there, then who is going to speak about their issues? So it is very important that we put women on board in terms of leadership, so that they can also talk about their issues as women. We've seen so much happening lately where women maybe are abused, molested, or they're not treated as they're supposed to be, or they're having so much, because as we know, women have been leaders of their homes most of the time. They remain at home. And so in that, who is also going to represent them in leadership, apart from just being leaders at home? We were just talking about this woman who is supposed to be the neck and not the head. Yeah, and so if that is the case, who is going to represent them in their in leadership out here apart from their home? So it is very, very important that we put women on board in terms of leadership of our country and also Africa at large, because we've seen them very much behind. And also speaking about this, I think we also have to urge women to always be coming out so that they can be found. You know, unless you avail yourself, who is going to look for you? And so in terms of leadership, I think women should also start coming out, so that they will be identified that they can be leaders. And this one now comes out in terms of, as we had said, a woman, you really need to control yourself so much, because you're not going to avail yourself, and then when you're put in position, you can't do what you need to do. So as women, we're also urging women that when you come out there, know that you've worked into your character, as we've said, so that you are somebody who is ready to encounter what you are expecting out there.
So you've talked about one of the reasons why it's important for women to be in leadership is to represent other women there. Like in Kenya, we have women representatives, so you can say that is their job. But apart from that, what is the other reason, importance of having leaders in women in leadership?
Okay, I would say that women, when they are in a place, they also make that place lively. I would want to say that, because if we just leave men alone, we've seen what men can do. Sometimes they fight so much wherever they are, but I think when women are there, they can always cool everything down. And apart from that, again, we look at women as people who are very sensitive. Sometimes they read way much in front than men. So they can notice when something is going wrong, or when something will go wrong before men would do so. So I think this is why we can also put them in leadership, because at least they'll be sensing things happening. We've heard of people talking about whistleblowers and all this stuff. And I think if women could have been in such places, maybe, because I've heard of this several times, I think women might cite out that there's a problem somewhere. And so in that, leadership would be worked on right before things start going wrong. So I think there are people who will always make things balance. So women are very good in balancing issues when things are happening. I think you've even seen when maybe there's a fight somewhere, when a woman tries to speak up and they can listen to her, things can cool off, because she has this softball voice and she will always try to balance everything, and so people can get to understand what she's talking about. Again, on this, I think women are also very important in leadership, because most of the time women so quick. They are so quick. I think I've talked about the sensitivity of women, but they're also so quick in doing things than men. So I think that ease of being so fast can help us run our leadership in different areas, that is in political areas and even other areas, because they're so fast, they're so handy. Whenever you want somebody who can do something so fast, the women are always there. So if they are accompanied in leadership, I think things will move a little bit faster. And also, we talked about the emotions of women. I know if a woman is in a place of leadership, if there's somebody who really needs to be helped and maybe is not being helped or she's not being helped, I think a woman with that characteristic of maybe they feel for people and all that stuff, I think that can also help. Because we've seen people in places where they really need to be helped, but who is there for them? But I think a woman being in leadership, they can really think in that direction and also put together these people who are maybe left out. Because most of the time, if women go in places, they look at these tiny things that other people don't see.
Yeah.
And so if she's in leadership, she'll go into these places and check on these things, and they'll be rectified. So they'll speak out about these issues, and I think they can be dealt with. Because we've seen even areas, the remote areas, those people who call themselves, they are imaginable, they're called what? Those people who are not well represented maybe. So you go to these places where they live, maybe their way of living is not right and all that. I think women really relate so fast with that, because they know what really needs to happen in a normal home, unlike a man. So if a woman is in leadership, I think she will really sight out this so fast than any other person in leadership.
Yeah, and you've talked about women in leadership in government. Now let's shift to church, because I know that you're into church ministry, specifically in women ministry.
Yeah.
What is the position of women in church?
Still in the church, we also have the same challenge, because the society affects us so much, and we don't have so many women in leadership. And so this is also still back to where we started. Like, women are not supposed to, because even you read in the Bible, you are told women are supposed to keep quiet in the church. So I think in the church also we've really had this, and as I was telling you, when you read the Bible, you really have to read it in context and out of context most of the time. And so you also have to read it before, after, and all that stuff. This is what we do when we read the Bible. So this is to say that even when they were saying that women have to keep quiet in the church, they were talking about something that was happening. There was a certain kind of behavior that was happening in that church at that time that was being addressed. So it was not for all women that women should keep quiet in the church. And so when they talk about that and people just take it like that, and so women are not supposed to be in the church, I think it's just a matter of not understanding what these people were saying at that time. So if they get to understand, they'll know that women are supposed to be part of leadership anyway. So still on that, I can say women are not so many in leadership in the church, and this is because of what has been affecting us. But now we are really trying to push, because we've seen that when women are there, things tend to happen.
Yeah.
But otherwise, if they are not there, you find that men will do their thing, and then women will be left out. And most of the time, you find a majority of the majority of the church is the women and the children most of the time. And so if they are left out, their issues are not handled, then where will they be? Because you find that in the society, maybe they're not found. In the church also, we leave them out. So where? So it is very advisable for us as a church to also see that we put women in leadership, so that they can also come with their issues, so that we know how to handle, and because they are there, they can tell us what they really need, you see. So in leadership, I can also say in the church, that is, we are still behind as just the society is, but we are still pushing so that women can be there. Because we've seen, I've talked about Deborah, we have Ruth, we have women like Abigail, we have Esther, we have all these people. But, still we can talk about them, but we cannot still let them do what those women did. Sarah and all these people. So please, even as a church, I'm still pleading with everybody in the church that please, we really need to give them room also to be leaders.
Yeah, and there are some women who are unable to balance their career life, because we're pushing women to go into leadership. But then some, when they get to those positions, they are unable to balance their career life and their love life. As a counselor, because you told us that you're a counselor actually, what can you say about this? Because Kenya was ranked among the nation with the highest number of single parenthood, and you see that the main reason is separation. Sometimes is women, they focus more on their career and they forgot their houses. So what can you say about this?
Okay, I think that is why we're here. The counselors, those people who teach other women, and we are trying to empower them, to teach them and to direct them on what they really need to do when they are given those positions of leadership. Because in every other position or in every other opportunity that you're given, I think you really need some training. So we are here so that we can train them as women leaders. So we are really trying to see that women can be in leadership, yes, but we really need to empower them first. We really need to help them work on those characteristics that we've said that push them down so that they cannot be leaders. So this is why we are here as counselors, as teachers and all that stuff. So in the church and in every other church, I would also urge people in churches that please try to give women their ministry to work on, so that they can work on some. We have very good ladies who are just sitting behind because they really don't know what they need to do, even if they're given those opportunities. And as I said, you know, they still bank on what was there in ancient days, that, you know, women are not supposed to speak. Yeah, so this one pushes them away. But if we have people who are going to help them lift up their heads and know that we can do this, then they can come out and they can do this. And then citing the fact that you said about single women and all that stuff, I know that still in this we have women who are career women, and this has really been a big problem, as I said. And this is to say that, you know, when a woman finds herself in leadership, there's something called pride that comes in, because now you start feeling, you now brush off that Bible scripture that we've just read.
The man is the head of the house.
Yeah, and so when that happens, and we know the Bible still talks about pride comes before a fall. So always, if a woman is given a position of leadership and she doesn't really know that that is a place of being elevated a little bit, if she doesn't know how to control herself up there, automatically she'll come down. And so that is why we see that there's a lot of this separation thing, because they develop that pride. They feel that now, if I'm above you, then I'm above you. So even at home, they find it very difficult to come down to their men, that is their husbands. And so because of this, ultimately we find that we have women saying that I can live on my own. Who are you? If I can command such men, big men out there, and they listen to me, who are you to tell me? And so that one will result into that woman automatically coming out of her marriage. But we are really trying to talk to women that if God has put you in that position, what you need to do is that don't forget this God who enabled you, because it's not an easy task for a woman to climb to heights so that you can be a leader. So if God gives you that opportunity to be there, please humble yourself. Humble yourself, even to those men that you're leading, and most of all to the man that is in your house, because that is the head of you. And because you are the wife of that man, I think that is why even other men would give you position to be a woman. So if you forget about that, you'll find that you start coming down little by little, because, you know, when a woman is also having a man as a husband, let me say, the other men will respect that woman. But if you're just a lady like that, maybe, you'll always find those insults, things that will disgrace you so much, and automatically even your leadership will be weak. So sometimes we think as women, I'm a woman leader, I'm up there, I'm commanding this man, and so even if I remain alone, nothing will matter a lot to me. But let me tell you, it's for truth that if you're there, and maybe you end up separating, or you don't have a man or a husband, it will not really work so well for you. It will really have a tilt on your leadership somehow. So I think this is also all resulting from the fact that women, most of the time when we are given positions, we forget. And then we find ourselves now big up there. And this is why also men don't like giving us position as leaders. So if we know this is our problem, why can't we work on it? So as women, I'm urging us that if God has given you, or whoever, the men who have given you that position to lead them, please make sure that when you're up there, be humble. You'll see that you'll still keep on climbing heights. And this one brings me back to a motto that I've always lived with, that to serve is to serve is to rule. If you're serving people, you'll rule them. So that means if you're humble up there, and you're giving them service as it's supposed to be, that is in your home, wherever you are as a leader, you'll always rule those people unknowingly. That is to say, you'll climb to other heights that they didn't expect you to go to, simply because you've allowed yourself to humble and to service them as they are supposed to be serviced.
Yeah, and you say that you are into church ministry and women ministry. What do you deal with specifically? Maybe you offer some counseling to women, these programs to deal with women?
Basically, I do that on a very local level, that is from the church. And mostly for those people who have encountered me, that is maybe through a friend or all that stuff, but basically from the church, I do a lot of counseling, because as you've just cited that, so many women are suffering from this issue of, you find this separation, there's divorce, there are issues at their homes, because sometimes as women, because we are urging them always, we are teaching them to try and also be in positions of leadership. And so when we talk to them like this and they still don't grab it well, you find that they go and start exercising it even at their places of residence, that is in their homes, and then they don't do it right. And it ends into other things. So you find that men are starting to now also come up and say, okay, we are men and we are leaders. So who are you and where are you going? So you find that there's a lot that is going on. So I do a lot of this counseling to women who are suffering from this separation issue, divorce, and others are in the process of the same. And I've seen God really work. Because if you talk to somebody and they get to understand, because as I said, women are so fast to understand, maybe, and they're also so fast to mess. So that is why it's always easy. When you talk to them and they get down and they understand what you're saying, they move well.
So there's a viewer out there who might want to come and get that counseling or join your ministry. Maybe you can give them a word where to find you.
If you want to find me, I'm found in our church offices there at Huduma Center, just next to Huduma Center. And we have Gospel Believers Fellowship Church, that is where we are. It is next to Huduma Center. So whenever you get there, you'll find Pastor Irene. I'll be there for you. Or if you want my number, I think you'll get my number as well. Maybe
you can give the number. Yeah.
0719 369932. 0719 369932. So you can always find me and we can talk about this.
Okay, let's continue with this thing of women leadership. You told us that you are a mother of 4. Actually, I did not believe that, but it's true. 3 girls and 1 boy. How do you manage to control? Because I know managing teenagers is very hard. How do you manage?
Yeah, it is very complicated, as I will tell you. But one thing I've always told each and every person I meet that would help is that I know my children might not confide so much in me, but as I handle other children who know me so well, what happens is that if they find my child doing something, what they'll do is they'll make sure that my child is not at peace with whatever she is doing, because mostly the 3 girls are the teenagers now. The 3 girls, let me say, because we have one who is approaching 17, the other one is 15, then the small one is around 11, and then the small one who is about 3. Yeah, so the girls are the teenagers now. So what I usually do is to handle other children toughly, because I know if they'll find my children doing anything, they'll work on them. You know, so that has been, because I realize that sometimes I really want to know what my children are doing, because they'll want to be very good children, knowing that I'm a pastor as I am. When they are closer to me, they'll do things right, but I know when they're out there with those other children and doing something that is not right, the other children will tell them, so this is what you're doing, and your mother keeps on telling us that we should not do it. You see, so automatically, those other children will work on them. So most of the time I've been working on youth also, because as a counselor, most of the time I get to engage the youth as well. And I handle them as I'm supposed to handle them. And you know, it is easy to handle another person's child. This one I'll tell you for free. Your child is not easy to work on, because they'll never give you a chance to know who they are most of the time. I know you'll really want to do that, but you'll know it to a certain extent. When they start becoming teenagers, there's so much that they'll hide from you.
They'll hide their personality, their real personality before you.
Yeah, of who they are. So the people I know who can know them better are those other youth. So what I do, if I handle those youth toughly, they know what to do to my children. But okay, that aside also, I know as a mother, as a leader in my home, what we've done is basically from childhood, when they were children, we've taught them how to go into the ways of the Lord, because this is what the Bible instructs us to do as parents, that you lead or you train your children in the ways of the Lord, and they'll never forget it. I know they can move this other side, go the other side, but at some point they'll come back to who they're supposed to be. So this is what we've done since childhood. We dedicate our children to the Lord. We teach them into the ways of the Lord. And so whenever they are closer to us, as I've told you, they always try to do their best in terms of what God expects them to do. Yeah. So that is why I was telling you that it's not easy sometimes for me to really know what they are doing. But I can always talk to those other children and know who they are very well. So once we teach them the ways of the Lord, we know that whether they go out there and try to do other things themselves, they'll come back, because that is the promise of God unto us as parents, so that we can do that, and when we do that, things will work out well for us.
Yeah, and there's this challenge that many parents actually go through. There is access to information. Right now, information is just right here, like in our smartphones. They can go there and Google some stuff. How do you control that?
I know that has been a real big challenge. because even my phone, they can do things, they can do stuff that me I can't do. Sometimes I wonder, looking at my phone from where I'm seated and where they are, I'm like, is that my phone? Because I've never gotten access to such other things. Then they know where it is. So the only thing here is also still being strict about it, because there's nothing much more we can do. We can make them not really get access to that, but we know that maybe when they're out there, somebody gets access to it. Yeah, even the television, sometimes we are like, don't watch such, you know, stuff. But you'll find that when they go to school, somebody narrates the whole thing unto them. So they know, you know. Yeah. So it is a real challenge, but I would just ask all the parents that please don't allow them to do this thing easily. That is, don't avail those phones to them. Don't avail, like for example, me, I had a friend who just had a tablet for the children. And you know, it has been a real tussle between me and them. Because most of the time I'm like, I have to take that tablet and hide it somewhere. Because otherwise you leave it to them, you find they are getting access to every other thing. But sometimes they remind me, Mommy, that tablet belongs to us. I'm like, it belongs to you because this person knew you through me. So please, can I have it? I think your time is done with it. So I think it is an on and off thing. But please, parents, don't leave them on their own. I know you can say that even if I refuse them to get it today, they'll get it somewhere else. But please let it be known that in your home, there are things that can be done and cannot be done. And you know, if you start from there, they'll know that even if they're doing this, they're doing it in hiding. Yeah. It's not that it's something that is so open that they'll do it, because even when we're at home, Mommy sees us doing this and she's not worried about it. So it's okay. Hey, who gives a damn? You know, so these are some of the things that we really need to work on as parents. Don't just allow them to have them simply because you say other children have it. Even if I deny it, they'll no. Just try to do your part as supposed to be done, so that even when they're out there, even if they get access to it, they'll be doing it in hiding because they know it's not the right thing to do. And so that is why the Bible tells us that we lead them in the ways of the Lord. If these things you know that cannot help them in the ways of the Lord, please restrict it to them, and so they'll know that it's not the right thing to do.
Wow. And as we wind up our today's program, there's advantages of something and disadvantages of something. So what can you say is the disadvantages of being an empowered woman?
As we've said, the first thing is pride crops up. And pride, as we are told, makes us to calm down. So I would say the basic thing about this is that when you are empowered as a woman, pride will come in automatically, but you can work on it. Okay, so pride is a very basic thing that we really need to avoid. And then again, as a woman leader, as you said, most of the time we find there are so many breakups that come in as a woman, empowered woman. So we find that you find yourself so superior out there. So when you come at home, you really also expect that the same superiority to be given to you. So it doesn't add up, and so things will not work out well. So we find that that's also another problem. And then again, we know that empowered women sometimes don't have enough time with their family. Yeah, we find them moving here and there.
Work.
Yeah, so that is also a disadvantage, because if you don't stay closer to your family, that is your children, your husband, and every other person who is in your home, you'll find that there's something that will go amiss. So most of the time, these empowered women, they have problems with staying closer to their family. But as I've said, you really know how to. As women, you can read the book of Proverbs 31, the whole of it. It's very good. It tells you what you need to do, how you can juggle around being even in profession and doing your homework as well. So this is to say that it is not something that is impossible. It is very possible. It is doable. It's only that sometimes we try to land on this other side because you feel there, that is where you're treated well. So most of the time, most women think that that is where I'm treated as I'm supposed to be treated, and so you lie on this other side and leave the other side to go free. So that is another thing. And then again, I know that women in leadership, most of the time, their roles in the home become so, what do I say, I don't know how to put it, but they don't do it as they're supposed to do it, because most of the time they feel they're so tired when they're home. And so who takes your
role as a wife?
Yeah, as a wife, because when you come home now, we have issues of house girls and all that stuff. I was talking to another lady and she was really telling me, you know, you're telling me this, but I don't understand. Yes, I'm back home and I'm tired. That is, should be known.
Actually, it's true, they're tired.
It's true, they're tired. But I was saying this, okay, you can be tired throughout the week as in you're working. But at least I know in that place of work, there's an off day. Yeah. That day that you're given off. Let it be known that you are a woman of that home when that day comes. Even if it is a housewife, a houseboy, whoever they are, let them go to their places. Make sure you do what you need to do. Yes, so that people can recognize that you are the lady of this house. But if you just let it be that this is my resting day today, I'm sleeping the whole day, my friend, it will not work for you. I know you'd want to do that. That is what every other person would want to do. But please, I'm telling you this so that you can save that home, you see, because you just read that Ephesians. That we can, the Christ is the head of the church so that he can save the church. Save that marriage, please, because otherwise that marriage is going to break up. So breakups of marriages are also disadvantages of these women in leadership. So we can talk about so many of them. I don't know if that is enough for you, but
you know, you have experience in that field, so you know the disadvantages of an empowered woman because you are in leadership, you're also in church, so you know both the spiritual aspect and in the governance where the women are in leadership,
the political area and all these other areas of leadership. Yes, as I was saying, you've just reminded me in the church, and we know most women who are empowered, maybe let's say you've gotten your place of work maybe up there, you're working maybe in the political area or all that stuff. We forget about our spiritual nourishment most of the time because we see we really are working hard out there. So many people are expecting so much from us, but I would also urge still women in leadership who are empowered that please never forget this, because I believe that is why God did put you there. Because you can add salt to somebody's life through your spiritual nourishment. So that is something you didn't need to forget. So many people forget about their spiritual life when they get into leadership. Even in the spiritual arena, that is in the churches and all that stuff. Once I'm a big woman or I'm leading so many women, so I'm just there. Most of the time they'll just be doing this for me. When I come in, they're clapping, they're doing all that stuff. I don't talk much. I leave the rest of the work to these other people. But remember, the Bible still talks about this. Jesus says that he came as a servant, you know, not as a boss or a master. So that is something you need to know. So whether you are where or wherever you are, make sure that the servanthoodness should still remain in you, because that is what will put you up there. As I said, that humility. When you think that you're a servant, it will make you do things better. But when you think that you're a master, you always relax, because you think you just put your legs there and somebody will work on them, you know, and that is not right. You see that? So that is another disadvantage that we have for those people who are empowered as women. And then again, as you had said this about the head and all this stuff, so many women have frustrated their men because of being in leadership, because now they want them to be under them, you know. And when I'm speaking about this, I know I've talked about that, but I'm still talking about this because I know that many men are frustrated, and as we know, men don't talk much. So many men are not in their places in the society because women have been empowered. So it's like they have been displaced. And because of this, we find that there are homes that are not run as they're supposed to be run. You find that children, maybe like there's intermarriage and all this stuff, so you find that this man, because maybe the mother or the woman of this house is a leader somewhere, she makes sure that her children will do what she wants them to do. So the father is out of question. Whether he would want to express himself as who and who, you know, it's not easy. Because now it's like this lady is everything, and the children will always run to that lady, because they also see when they are out there with her, everybody, yes madam, yes madam. So the children feel this is the best place to be. And you know, because as I've said, because she's out most of the time, she doesn't even know what is happening with the children. So the children will always enjoy being with her out there rather than even being with her at home, because they know most of the time she's not home. And in that, you find that that is where the children are also not taken into their position. You know, they are growing up not as they're supposed to be, children who are respecting their father and mother equally. So that is not another ill now in the society, because we are bringing up a generation now that the children don't respect the parents equally. It's simply because the mother is she's been empowered. So as much as we are empowering women, we are still looking into this fact that, you know what, please, women, make sure that you run your home in the right way. Don't let these children look at their fathers. And you know, the moment they're looking at their father as nobody, they look at every other male figure out there as nobody. And so what happens? The society is corrupt, because the children always, they're like, men, okay, who are you? So you find that the ladies like me, I have my girls, they'll say, after all, we are not going to get married, because now, what is the meaning of getting married when we can be in those high places and command everything? So I don't need a man. I just need to have some good job.
And a baby maybe, because many single mothers these days, they just want a baby. Yes. I have my money, I have my house.
Yes. So that is the single. Anaweza kaa hapo tukaendelea na maisha yetu. Yeah. So there are so many things that when you start digging into it, you find that there are so many ills that are happening. And as you know, the Bible talks about the father being the instructor. He gives information, but now the woman needs to be the teacher of this information to the children. So when this thing is vice versa, imagine what rules can a woman bring into a home, because we've talked about the characteristics of women. They'll bring those things that will really want to intimidate that man. Yeah. And you know, when we grow up, or when the society grows up in that environment, things will not work out well. So as we keep on saying, dunia imeharibika, dunia hatujawahi ona crack mahali popote. As women, we are trying really so hard to empower women, but we are not also empowering them in terms of how do they bring up the society. Yeah. Because now at the end of it, we find that the society is down on earth, I mean in ashes, because women have not done what they really needed to do. They were supposed to teach these children the morals. And then again, just citing about that, I also remember immorality is another disadvantage of women being empowered. Because most of the time, after I'm empowered, I'm in those high places, I can interact with who is who. Then who is this other woman, a man at home? So I would want to relate with those people up there. Yeah. So if maybe my husband is somebody who, even as much as he might be having his good job or anything, but at least I want to be with those people that I know where they are. I know their positions much more. And so this one, he can stay at home or he can stay at his place of work. We can work with those other people there. And you see, it really brings a lot of surely what's happening and what are we showing even the other generation that is to come. So I was just in another matanga the other day, and this lady is a leader in the political area. And so she happened to have come with the husband. And then all of a sudden, these male figures were coming, and because they know her, most of the time they would come, shake her very, you know, the shaking of hands, you know, this area, the way they do it. Yeah. And so the husband was like, he's just seated there. So it's now what do I do? You know, such things are not very good. So I'm also talking to women. Once you see such things are happening, please try to put your man into the limelight. Bring him up so that people can know this is my husband. You know, you keep on shaking hands with these people, they go away. You don't even tell them this is my husband, he's here, can you say hi? You know, so women, when we're empowered, sometimes we do things that are not right. So please, if we are there, remember we started from somewhere.
Well, thank you so much. I'm seeing that our time is up. Yes. Thank you. I've seen that you're really a good teacher, a counselor. Na ukitaka kupatana na yeye, ametupea namba yake ya simu, na pia you can get her at Gospel Believers Fellowship opposite
next to
Huduma Center here in Bungoma County. Thank you so much. This has been our program, Women in Leadership. That was our main topic today, and this is Maisha Prime Talk. My name is Rida Chebet Kering. Enjoy the rest of your day.